Why can't he let the past go? A streaky grey wash across the canvas sky. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Spiders, 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 ASMR. If you're new here, then welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Today I'm gonna read to you, and I've never actually watched the... I'm looking here because my camera's usually here. I should be looking here. I've never actually read this book before, and I've never actually watched I think it's like a Netflix TV program, but I really wanted to watch it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it, so I thought I'd read to you Lies Behind Her Eyes, Behind Her Eyes, Behind Her Eyes, because I'm off to a party, so I literally got all dressed up, and yeah, so I'm ready now to go, so I thought I would read Behind Her Eyes to you. I didn't do my nails. I was going to, just for the video, like my plastic ones, but I just couldn't be bothered. So let's read this. I'm just going to read the first few pages to you. Okay. I'm such a little bookworm. Like, I love reading. Let me just go get my gloss. One sec. Okay, I'm back and I got my gloss. Let's do some gloss because I forgot to put some on. Okay. Okay, hold on. So let's read some of Behind Her Eyes, guys. Let's do this. So it starts with then. So then, I'm going to try to do it soft spoken. Pinch myself and say I am awake. Once an hour. Look at my hands, count my fingers, look at the clock. Look away, look back. Stay calm and focused. My storage ran out. Think of a door. And the next bit says later at the top. Later. It was nearly light when it was finally done. A streaky grey wash across the canvas sky. Dry leaves and mud clung to his jeans, and his weak body ached. As his sweat cooled in the damp, chill air, a thing had been done that could not be undone. A terrible, necessary act. An ending and a beginning now knotted up forever. He expected the hues of the world to change to reflect that, but the earth and the heavens remained the same muted shades. And there was no tremble of anger from the trees. No weeping whisper of the wind. No siren wailed in the distance. The woods were just woods, and the dirt was just dirt. He let out a long breath. And it felt surprisingly good. Clean. A new dawn. A new day. He walked in silence towards the remains of the house in the distance. He didn't look back. And then on this page it says now. But in this book it kind of separates them into characters. So on this page it says Adele. On the next page it says Louise. And on the next page it says Adele again. So we start with Adele. So let's imagine that we're Adele. Okay. There's still mud under my fingernails when David finally comes home. I can feel it stinging against my raw skin. Deep under the beds, my stomach twists, wringing fresh nerves out as the front door shuts. And for a moment, we just look at each other from opposite ends of the long corridor of our new Victorian house. A tract of perfectly polished wood between us before he turns, swaying slightly towards the sitting room. I take a deep breath and join him, flinching at each of the hard beats of my heels against the floorboards. I must not be afraid. I need to repair this. We need to repair this. I've cooked dinner, I say, trying not to sound too needy. Only a stroganoff. It can keep until tomorrow if you've already eaten. He's facing away from me, staring at our bookshelves that the unpackers are filled from the boxes. I try not to think about how long he's been gone. I've cleaned up the broken glass, swept and scrubbed the floor, and dealt with the garden. All evidence of the earlier rage has been removed. I rinsed my mouth out of every glass of wine I drank in his absence, so he won't be able to smell it on me. He doesn't like me to drink, only ever a glass or two in company, never alone, but tonight I couldn't help it. Even if I haven't entirely got the dirt out from under my nails, I've showered and changed into a powder blue dress and matching heels and put makeup on, no trace of tears and fighting. I want us to wash it all away. This is our fresh start, our new beginning. It has to be. I'm not hungry, he turns to face me then, and I can see a quiet loathing in his eyes. And I bite back a sudden urge to cry. I think this emptiness is worse than his anger. Everything I've worked so hard to build really crumbling. I don't care that he's drunk again. He doesn't even notice the effort I've made since he stormed out. How busy I've been, how I look, how I've tried. I'm going to bed, he says. He doesn't look me in the eye. And I know that he means the spare room. Two days into our fresh start and he won't be sleeping with me. I feel the cracks between us widen once more. Soon we won't be able to reach each other across them. He walks carefully around me and I want to touch his arm, but I'm too afraid about how he will react. He seems disgusted by me, or perhaps it's a disgust at himself radiating in my direction. I love you, I say softly. I hate myself for it. He doesn't answer but unsteadily clambers the stairs as if I'm not there. I hear his footstep recede and then a door closing. After a moment of staring at the space where he no longer is, listening to my patchwork heart breaking, I go back to the kitchen and turn the oven off. I won't keep it for tomorrow. It would taste sour on the memory of today. Dinner's ruined. We're ruined. I sometimes wonder if he wants to kill me and be done with it all, get rid of the albatross around his neck. Perhaps some part of me wants to kill him too. I'm tempted to have another glass of forbidden wine, but I resist. I'm tearful enough already and I can't face another fight. Perhaps in the morning we'll be fine again. I'll replace the bottle and you'll never know I've been drinking it at all. I gaze out into the garden before finally flicking the outside lights off and facing my reflection in the window. I'm a beautiful woman. I look after myself. Why can't he still love me? Why can't our life have been as I hoped, as I wanted, after everything I've done for him? We have plenty of money. He has the career he ever dreamed of. I only ever tried to be the perfect wife and give him the perfect life. Why can't he let the past go? I allow myself for a few minutes more self-pity as I wipe down and polish the granite surfaces, and then I take a deep breath and pull myself together. I need to sleep. To properly sleep, I'll take a pill and knock myself out. Tomorrow will be different. It has to be. I'll forgive him. I always do. I love my husband. I have since the moment I set eyes on him, and I will never fall out of love with him. I won't give that up. I can't. Okay, so now it's Louise. Louise is the next person, so we're a different person now. We are Louise, okay? No names, okay? No jobs, no dull life talk. Let's talk about real things. You really said that? Yes, well, no, I say he did. My face burns. It sounded romantic at 4:30 in the afternoon 2 days ago with the first illicit afternoon in Negroni, but now it's like something from a cheap, tragedy rom-com. 34-year-old woman walks into a bar and is sweet talked by the man of her dreams, who turns out to be her new boss. Oh God, I want to die from the awfulness of it all. What a mess. Of course he did, Sophie laughs and immediately tries to stop herself. No dull life talk, like, oh, I don't know, the small fact I'm married. She sees my face. Sorry, I know it's not technically funny, but it sort of is. And I know you're out of practice with the whole men thing, but how could you not have known that he was married? The new boss bit I'll let you off with. This is simply bloody bad luck. It's really not funny, I say, but I smile. Anyway, married men are your forte, not mine. True. I know Sophie would make me feel better. We are funny. Together. We laugh. She's an actress by trade, although we never discuss how she hasn't worked outside of 2 TV corpses in years. And despite her affairs, has been married to a music exec forever. We met at our NCT classes, and although our lives have been very different, we bonded 7 years on and we're still drinking wine. But now you're like me, she says, with a cheery wink. Sleeping with married men. I feel less bad about myself already. I didn't sleep with him. I didn't know he was married. That last part isn't quite true. By the end of the night, I'd had a pretty good idea. The urgent press of his body against mine as we kissed, our heads spinning from the gin. The sudden breakaway, the guilt in his eyes, the apology. I can't do this. All the tells were there. Okay, Snow White, I'm just excited that you nearly got laid. How long's it been? I really don't want to think about that. Depressing me further won't help my current predicament, I say before drinking more wine. I need another cigarette. Adam is tucked up and fast asleep and won't move until breakfast and school. I can relax. He doesn't have nightmares, he doesn't sleepwalk. Thank God for small mercies. And this is all Michaela's fault anyway, I continue. If she'd cancelled before I got there, none of this would have even happened. Sophie's got a point though. It's been a long time since I've ever flirted with a man. Let alone got drunk and kissed one. Her life is different, always surrounded by new and interesting people, creative types who live more freely, drink until late and live like teenagers. Being a single mum in London, eking out of living as a psychiatrist, part-time secretary, doesn't exactly give me a huge number of opportunities to throw caution to the wind and go out every night in the hope of meeting anyone, let alone Mr. Right. I can't face Tinder or Match or any of those other sites. I've kind of got used to being on my own, putting all that on hold for a while that is turning into an inadvertent lifestyle of choice. This will cheer you up. She pulls a joint out of the top pocket of her red corduroy jacket. Trust me, you'll find everything funnier once we're baked. And grins. Come on, Lou, it's a special occasion. You've excelled yourself, snogged your new married boss. This is genius. I should get someone to write the film. I could play you. Good, I say. I'll need the money when I'm fired anyway. I can't fight Sophie and I don't want to, and soon we're sitting out on the small balcony of my tiny flat, wine, crisps, cigarettes at our feet, passing the weed between us and giggling. Unlike Sophie, who somehow remains half teenager, getting high is not in any way of my normal routine. I'm definitely not Louise, but there we go. Let's just say that. But laughter beats crying at any time, and I suck in a lungful of sweet but forbidden smoke. It could only happen to you, she says. You hit? I nod, smiling at the comedy of the memory imagined through someone else's eyes. I couldn't think of anything else to do. I dived into the toilet and stayed there. When I came out, he'd gone. He doesn't start until tomorrow. He was getting the full tour from Dr. Sykes. With his wife? Yep, with his wife. I remember how good they looked together in that brief, awful moment of realisation. A beautiful couple. How long did you stay in the toilet for? 20 minutes. Oh, Lou. There's a pause and then we both have giggles and weed buzzing in our heads. For a while we can't stop. I wish I could have seen your face, Sophie says. Yeah, well, I'm not looking forward to seeing his face when he sees my face. Sophie shrugs. He's the married one. It's his shame. He can't say anything to you. She absolves me of my guilt, but I still feel it clinging along with the shock. The gut punch of the woman I'd glimpsed by his side before I dashed into hiding. His beautiful wife, elegant, dark-haired, and olive-skinned in an Angelina Jolie type way. That kind of mystery about her, exceptionally slim, the opposite of me. The snapshot of her is burned into my brain. I couldn't imagine her ever panicking and hiding in the toilet from anyone. It stung in a way it shouldn't have, not after one drunken afternoon, and not only because my confidence has reached rock bottom. The thing is, I'd liked him. Really liked him. I can't tell Sophie about that. How I hadn't talked to anyone like that in a long time. How happy I'd felt to be flirting someone who was flirting back. And how I'd forgotten how great that excitement of something potentially new was. My life is, as the rule, a blur of endless routine. I get up Adam and I take him to school. If I'm working and want to start early, he goes to breakfast club. If I'm not working, I may spend an hour or so browsing charity shops for designer cast-offs that will fit the clinic's subtly expensive look. It's just cooking, cleaning, shopping until Adam comes home. And then it's homework, tea, bath, story, bed for him, and wine and bad sleep for me. When he goes to his dad's for a weekend, I'm too tired to do anything much other than lie and watch crap TV. The idea that this could be my life until Adam's at least 15 or so quietly terrifies me. So I don't think about it, but then meeting the man in the bar made me remember how good it was to feel something. As a woman, it made me feel alive. I'd even thought about going back to that bar and seeing if he'd turn up to find me. But of course life isn't a rom-com. He's married and I've been an idiot, and I'm not bitter, merely sad. I can't tell Sophie any of these things because then she'd feel sorry for me. And I don't want that. And it's just easier to find it all funny. It's funny and it's not. Like I sit at home bemoaning my singledom every night, and if no one could ever be complete without a man. In the main, I'm pretty happy. I'm a grown-up. I could have had it way worse. This was one mistake and I have to deal with it. I scoop up a handful of Doritos and Sophie does the same. Curves are the new fin, we say in unison. Before cramming the crisps into our mouths and nearly choking as we laugh again, I think of me hiding in the toilet from him, full of panic and disbelief. It is funny, everything is funny. It might be less funny tomorrow morning when I have to face the music, but for now I can laugh. If you can't laugh at your own fuck-ups, what can you laugh at? Why do you do it, I say, later when the bottle of wine is empty between us and the evening is drawing to a close. Have affairs? Aren't you happy with Jay? Of course I am, Sophie says. I love him and it's not like I'm out doing it all the time. This is probably true. She's an actress. She exaggerates for the sake of a story sometimes. But why do it at all? Strangely, it's not something we've really talked about that much. She knows I'm uncomfortable with it, not because she does it, that's her business, but because I know I like Jay, he's good for her. Without him, she'd be screwed, as it were. Where I am, but I got really rudely disturbed by my mum, because she come in and she was like, "Are you nearly done? We need to..." I think of my own short-lived marriage. The lust didn't die with us, but that didn't stop him from leaving after 4 years to be with somebody else when our son was barely 2 years old. Maybe she has a point. I don't think I ever saw my ex, Ian, as my best friend. It just seems a bit sad to me, and it does. That's because you believe in true love and happy ever after in a fairy tale way. That's not how life is. Do you think he's ever cheated on you, I ask? He's definitely had his flirtation, she says. There was a singer he worked with a long time ago. I think maybe they had a thing for a while, but whatever it was, it didn't affect us. Not really. She makes it sound so reasonable. All I can think of is that the pain of the betrayal I felt when Ian left. How what he did affected how I saw myself, how worthless I felt in those early days. How ugly. The short-lived romance he left me for didn't last either, but that didn't make me feel better. I don't think I'll ever understand it, I say. Everyone has secrets, Lou, she says. Everyone should be allowed their secrets. You can never know everything about a person. You'd go mad trying to. After she's left and I'm cleaning up the debris of our evening, if maybe it's all done to make herself feel better or to quietly get even. Who knows? I'm probably overthinking it. Overthinking is my specialty. Each to their own. I remind myself she's happy and that's good enough for me. It's only a little past 10:30, but I'm exhausted. I peer in at Adam for a minute, at soothing comfort to be found in watching his peaceful sleep, curled up tiny on his side under his Star Wars duvet. Paddington tucked into one arm and then closed the door and leave him to it. It's dark when I wake up in the bathroom, standing in front of the mirror, and before I've really registered where I am, I feel the sharp throb in my shin where I walked into the small laundry basket in the corner. My heart races and sweat clings to my hairline as reality settles around me. The night terror shatters, leaving only fragments in my head. I know what it was, though. Always the same dream. A vast building like an old hospital or orphanage, abandoned. Adam is trapped somewhere inside it, and I know it. I just know that if I can't get to him, then he's gonna die. He's calling out for me, afraid. Something bad is coming for him. I'm running through the corridors trying to reach him, and from the walls and the ceilings the shadows stretch as if they're part of some terrible evil. Alive in the building, and wrap themselves around me, trapping me. All I can hear is Adam crying as I try to escape the dark, sticky strands determined to keep me from him. It's a horrible dream. It drags me into endless darkness. It clings to me like the shadows do in the nightmare itself. The details may change slightly from night to night, but the narrative is always the same. However many times I have it, I'll never get used to it. The night terrors didn't start when Adam was born. I've always had them, but before him I would be fighting for my own survival. Looking back, that was better. Even if I didn't know it at the time, they're the bane of my life. They kill my chances of a decent night's sleep when being a single mum tires me out enough. Now guys, I'm going to have to leave it there. I'm on page 17. So if you liked this video, like this video, then please like this, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you want to hear more of this book, because I'm only like page 17 myself, so I want to read the whole thing and then watch the series, because I think reading the book first gives you like a better understanding for the film or the series of something. I also think books are a lot better, and I hope that you enjoyed this. It's a little bit like rambly because, you know, I'm not used to reading books on my ASMR channel.